-1, thank you. All right, so again, we can't just start canceling stuff that looks the same until it's factored when you have those pluses and minuses, okay? So x plus 4 and x minus 1, when I multiply 4 times -1, I get -4. There's the -4, right, our C value. And when I add the +4 and the -1, I get that +3, the B value. For the bottom, the denominator, 2 times 2 is 4 and 2 plus 2 is 4. So those are both x plus 2's. And then here we have a GCF of 2x. Always look for a GCF first, right? And 2x squared divided by 2x is x, and 4x divided by 2x is 2. And then this one, the factors of +3 that add up to -4 would be -1 and a -3. We should be able to factor by now, okay? One of the things you learned in Algebra 1 that you still need to be able to do in Algebra 2, and we've done a lot of these. Now we're looking for common factors. One in the top, one in the bottom. I see an x plus 2, x minus 1, and that's it, right? Nothing else will cancel out. So my numerator is the 2x and the x plus 4, and the denominator is x plus 2 and x minus 3. What are the values that x can't be? What makes that 0? -2. That's another -2, right? What's that one? +1, and that one's +3. So on our quiz next week, there will be a spot for your answer, the fraction, and then there will be a spot for x does not equal. All right, those are the things that make the denominator 0. All right, you look at all the denominators to answer that part. Questions on that? All right, so answers are number 2. Gotta get to the right page. Number 2 was -x over 2x plus 5. X cannot be 0. Number 4, it's already simplified. You can't cancel anything. And they don't have any x cannot equal part, though. Number 6, x minus 4 over x squared plus 3x plus 9. X cannot equal 3. So that x squared plus 3x plus 9, I don't think you can factor that, looks like. Number 8 is x minus 1 over 3 times the quantity, 3x squared minus 7. Number 10 is x cubed over 3y squared. X cannot be 0. Number 12, x plus 5 times x plus 8 all over 3. X cannot be 0 or 9. 14, x minus 4 times x plus 4 all over 2. X cannot be 0 or 1. 16, x minus 3 times x plus 1 all over 2x squared times x plus 3. X cannot equal -2. Again, I would say x cannot be 0 or -3 also. Number 18 is x plus 3 times x minus 2. X cannot be positive or -4. Any of those you want me to go over? Just put these over what? 1. Yeah, that's all. Jordan.
Can you go over steps?
Sure. All right, that one's a tough one because we didn't go over how to factor that yesterday. But the top is x minus 4 and x minus 3. When I multiply negative 4 times negative 3, I get negative 12. I'm sorry, positive 12. When I add negative 4 and negative 3, I get that negative 7. This was a difference of cubes, which we didn't do one yesterday. We take the cube root of those, which cube root of x cubed is x, cube root of 27 is 3. And whatever the sign is between them, you put in the binomial part. The trinomial part is taking this first term of the binomial and squaring it. So x times x is x squared. Since that's a minus, the middle term is always the opposite that. So that's a plus, and you just multiply those. X times 3 is 3x. And then the third term is always addition, and then you square the second term. So 3 squared is 9. Okay? So the x minus 3's would cancel. So you get x minus 4 over that. Okay, what do the directions say? Did they say find what makes, simplify if possible? That's all it said, huh? But we've been saying what makes zero. So we couldn't have a 3 in the bottom. And then we have to try to solve that. That looks like it's going to be an imaginary value for x. So I'm not going to worry about that. What else? Anything else? Not a cube one. I won't put a cube one on the test. All right. So today we're dividing. Dividing is like multiplying by the what? When you got fractions. Reciprocal, right? We already knew that. A over B divided by C over D is the same as A over B times D over C, right? We flip and multiply. We already knew that, right? So division is just like yesterday, multiplication. So just rewrite the problem as times the reciprocal, and everything else is the same, okay? So this would be 7x, can't factor that, 2 is the common factor, times, now I'm looking at factors of this bottom and I'm putting it up top. Negative 6 times negative 5 is the positive 30, but negative 6 plus negative 5 is negative 11. Then I'm taking this numerator and putting it in the bottom, x is the GCF, and then I get x minus 6. So what I do is when I write it on my paper, I write it as a multiplication problem. So just take the second fraction, when it's division, flip it, and do everything else the same we did last night. Factor what you can factor, cancel factors, and then go from there. So x minus 5s will go away, and x minus 6s, right? What about, since this is 7 times x, and this is 2 times x, right? If I were to, is it okay to cancel the x's? Yeah, it is, because that's multiplication. So the answer to that would be 7 halves. Okay? You know, what x is not allowed to be would be 5, 0, and 6. If I look at those factored parts of my denominators. Okay? All right? So, really today's nothing new except remembering to multiply by the reciprocal. Jordan. Here. What makes that 0 is just the number 0, right? Yeah, so if you just have a variable by itself, 0 means 0 would be the value that it can't equal. Okay? That makes sense? All right, so this was like this. So when I multiply, I got to do what? Flip it, right? So, we haven't had one like this for a while. A is not 1. So what's 6 times negative 15? Isn't it negative 90? I think it is. So what factors of negative 90 add up to positive 1? Wouldn't it be those two? Okay, so what we did when we had this situation, when A was not a 1, all the problems so far, A's been 1, all right, would be multiply those and then rewrite it as 6x squared. Instead of plus 1x, we're going to write it as plus 10x minus 9x minus 15. And then we turned it into what type of problem? A grouping problem, right? What's common to the first group? 2x, right? Since that's negative, remember, pull the negative out. What's common to 9x and the 15? 3. Okay, so we're going to pull those out and then write what's left. 6x squared divided by 2x is 3x. 10x divided by 2x is 5. Negative 9x divided by negative 3 is 3x. Negative 15 divided by negative 3 is 5. So it works out, doesn't it? Okay? So my numerator for this first one is 3x plus 5, what's in the parentheses, and then the 2x minus 3, the GCFs we pulled out. This one I can't factor, it's already basically factored, 4x squared. Now remember, it's times 1 over, and then what goes into both of those? Just an x, right? And then 3x plus 5 when I take the x out and divide. So the 3x plus 5s go away. That's it. And then it's 2x minus 3 for the top. And 4x squared times x is 4x cubed. All right, so x cannot be, where the x is, Jordan, what's it going to be?
0.
Right, good. So it can't have a 0. And what makes 3x plus 5 equal to 0? What are you going to do when you set that equal to 0? What's going to move first? The 5. How does it move? Minus 5. How do you move the 3? Divide it, right? So it's going to be negative 5/3 is the other x value that we can't have, because that would give us a 0 in the denominator, and that's not acceptable. All right, is that making sense? Why not?
I'm just completely lost on all of it.
Why? You don't know that multiplying by the reciprocal is the same as dividing?
No, I know that.
Okay.
It's just like that first part where it's not the one in front of the
Oh.
other.
That just haven't done that for a while.
Yeah.
That'll come to you. All right, so that was kind of quick, I know. We had a short period. There's your homework. We'll go over this stuff, review a little bit tomorrow. Probably won't give you any homework tomorrow as long as we work in class. But then Friday we'll work on the practice quiz, okay?